Inventing a machine to shrink someone to a fraction of their normal size has always been beyond possibility. But leading wildlife film producers have teamed up with special effects experts to make this seem a reality for leading naturalist Nigel Marven.
My worst nightmare!
In the making of Micro Safari, we go behind the scenes to reveal the secrets of the technology that created some of the most exhilarating sequences ever seen on television, including how to hitch a ride on a dragonfly.
What a ride it would be to skim around a garden. The view of the garden!
But creating this unique production was no stroll in the park. Things didn't always go to plan.
I literally can't, I don't know where you are, can't see anything.
This is the payoff shot for the whole sequence, and if you don't get it, you're suddenly looking at a 5-minute hole in your film.
The Land Rover's too big to fit into the studio.
It really hurts between your legs.
Everything that could possibly go wrong with piled onto these shots.
I always loved creepy crawlies. I think some of my earliest memories are laying on my tummy in the garden, peeking through the grass stalks and seeing all the insects.
What do you think we'll find under there?
It was a whole amazing new world for me.
Do you like woodlice?
After choosing the perfect presenter and a suitable garden in which to set the drama, work begins on filming the real wildlife material. This task is down to expert natural history cameramen Martin Dawn and Rod Clark. As well as using macro photography to record the extreme close-up action, specialist cameras are brought in to capture some of the more unusual images.
Hello there.
Like those seen by Nigel's thermal vision goggles.
Oh, I should be able to see that.
The thermal imaging camera that we used is based on restricted military technology. It registers incredibly small changes in temperature, down to 0.02 of a degree.
The system provides incredible images of the bumblebee warming itself up. It also illustrates the heat given off by the decomposing vole.
And there'll be microbes on the meat, they'll be producing heat, and the carcass should stand out like a sore thumb.
The slow motion images are filmed using an astonishing high-speed camera system called Phantom, which can record at over 2,000 frames a second.
A normal video camera records at 25 frames per second, so effectively we're slowing down the action 80 times, but without any loss of quality at all.
One of the key elements of the story is the vehicle.
We wanted something kind of pretty big and impressive. We found a Land Rover 101. It turned out to be an ambulance that had come back from the Gulf. It had the red crosses on the back and everything. And it was in a terrible state. When we took it to the set builders and showed them the drawings we'd done, they kind of they were a bit surprised at just how much work it was going to take to make it look impressive.
To capture some of the real wildlife behaviour that Nigel observes by the pond, cameraman Martin Dawn is using a unique contraption that he's christened Frankencam.
It's Frankencam as in Frankenstein. It's a monster with a heart of gold. It's a dreadful concoction of other bits of machinery, and it's not pretty.
Despite Martin's love-hate relationship, the system allows him to manipulate the camera's tiny lens to within a millimetre of the action.
What a meal, and you can see there it's sucking up its food with relish. Where are you? You getting this?
For some of the scenes where Nigel is directly interacting with insects, the effects team are forced to create a small number of computerized creatures.
It's virtually impossible to get a wasp, an insect of any description, to do what you want them to do. So we persuaded everybody to go for CGI virtual insects. And then the insect could fit within what we'd shot and be choreographed exactly to what we needed.
To make Nigel appear bug-sized, almost all his acting has to be filmed in a green screen studio. This means that when the scenes are edited, the green background can be replaced by a pre-filmed scene, known as a backplate.
He'll be nicely silhouetted against the sky.
We're in luck. We've got a hatching dragonfly.
A certain amount of wildlife filming also has to take place inside a studio, where, unlike in the wild, the lighting and conditions can be controlled, regardless of the weather outdoors. The production team have created a set resembling a section of the garden in the hope of capturing slow-motion images of a tawny owl pouncing down right in front of the camera. Well, that was the idea.
Basil's a tame owl, and the standard practice is to put down a piece of food which they like and whoosh, they come down and pick it up, and you've got the shot. You know, what could be simpler than that?
As the camera is recording at high speed, the scene needs to be very well lit. Tawny owls are nocturnal. They prefer to hunt in pitch darkness, so this one isn't budging. Bird trainer Lloyd Buck is concerned that the lights may be the problem.
Do these flicker? No. It's just knowing how his eyes work, isn't it? They've got just such sensitive, light-sensitive eyes.
This is the payoff shot for the whole sequence. And if you don't get it, and you're suddenly looking at a 5-minute hole in your film, the longer it went on, the more worried I was getting.
Finally, Basil the owl gives in, and the team have the shots needed to save the day, and ultimately save Nigel from the jaws of a deadly swarm.
Their ears are brilliant, so they can pinpoint the slightest rustle and squeak of their prey.
At the design workshop, the new look of the Land Rover is really starting to take shape. And with a fresh coat of paint, the drama studio is ready for action. And after 6 weeks of hard work and a transformation to rival Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the vehicle arrives on cue. But not everything is going to plan.
Slight problem, it seems that the Land Rover is too big to fit into the studio.
Finally, after some tender persuasion, the vehicle just manages to make it, and without a scratch. However, all that is about to change.
We started with the idea that the van was going to be absolutely pristine piece of kit all the way through the film, but we decided we probably needed to look a bit more worn out by the journey. So what the guys are doing now is taking our lovely paint job that we asked them for originally and destroying it effectively.
Director of photography Joel Devlin is preparing the lighting on a green screen set. Unlike filming a normal drama, this particular production requires a different approach.
It's an effects-driven shoot, so any lighting I'm doing, essentially, it's got to be effects-friendly. Anything we do has to match the back plates that have already been shot, and most of those back plates are shot in sort of outside in a garden.
As hard as nails.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning on the first day of the drama shoot. For Nigel, the next few hours involve a terrifying encounter with a giant toad.
I'm going to try to get my stun gun from under the tongue of a toad. It's crucial for the adventure that I have to cross, so that's why I'm trying to get it back.
As most of the dramatic scenes take place with Nigel alone on the green screen set, it's down to the director to get the best performance out of him and ensure his actions will match the pre-filmed wildlife material.
The impossible challenge of this project is for Nigel to constantly keep in his brain what this is going to eventually look like. Well, it's a weird environment. But, you know, he's got to make it completely convincing that he's in this very real, believable situation. On my own, did you say?
It came out of nowhere. I'm really sorry.
At the back of the studio, the special effects team use a portable edit suite to check that the green screen images match the pre-filmed toad material.
Normally I'm used to the computer graphics people working around me. I run away and then they mat in a dinosaur afterwards. But this is real footage. That's the joy of it.
What's that?
Devil's Coach Horse.
Playing the part of Nigel's trusty assistant Laura is actress Sarah Matravers.
Today is our first day with Laura on set, the actress Sarah. Our sort of thinking is to sort of work a little bit with Laura to absolutely define the character as we go along.
I think she's probably quite prim, very studious. Probably out to prove herself as much as she can. Feeling a little bit nervous and frightened about it, but incredibly excited as well. So there's a real mixture of emotions going on.
I'm getting a bad feeling about this mission.
Joining Sarah on the adventure is actor Robin Lawrence, who's immersed in the role of Doug.
Well, he's lived in the bush for 30 years in Africa, taking tourists around, showing them what to do, maybe occasionally teaching them a little bit about conservation, and he lives on caterpillars occasionally when he goes off on his own in the bush, just to contemplate and to stalk big cats. 30 years in the bush. I've never heard anything like that.
I wouldn't want to meet Doug in a dark alley at night. He's got the face of a convict, isn't he? Perfect casting.
Bloody nutter.
Robin, who plays Doug, is a fantastic character. He actually used to be a long-distance lorry driver, I think.
Well, I do drive them. 7.5-ton trucks. Another one? They want another one. I love it.
He could throw the truck around in a way that was impressive and scary in the same time. We ultimately didn't really have a studio that was that big, so it required Robin to go from stationary to moving very fast, very quickly, and then stop very quickly because he didn't have much space to manoeuvre. There have been moments when he's done that with Nigel on board that I think have definitely freaked Nigel out a bit.
My scariest moment was definitely that death ride with Robin. He was careening round the corners. I thought we were going to go right into a wall. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with that. Perfectly safe. All the parameters are clear. No personnel involved. Job done. Bit of danger for the telly. Sexton beetles. They're nature's undertakers. They bury the dead.
Although in the film Nigel's thermal goggles allow him to see much more than the naked eye, the reality of wearing the dummy pair on set proves to be quite the opposite.
You really can't see a thing.
No, you can't.
It's just like being a repetition, isn't it?
It's a cool idea, the goggles. With these I can actually see heat. So it's a bit like rattlesnakes or pythons. They've got heat-sensitive pits. So I've got that so I can actually see the heat emanating from creatures' bodies and things. So it would be a useful thing to have. But, of course, they don't really work, and I can't see anything at all. Laura, I've been dropped off on the patio at the top of the steps.
One of the scariest moments is when Nigel gets attacked by a gigantic wasp. To make the scene appear realistic, the effects team have to create a virtual 3D world of backplates that can be made to move in relation to the position of the camera. A series of markers placed around the set allows the graphics software to analyze and match each camera move.
We'll actually track those markers and replicate the move that the camera is performing behind Nigel in 3D space with 3D animation software, and that whole green background will be creative in a mixture of CGI and photography.
A dummy wasp's head is used to help Nigel's performance. Along with the background tracking markers, the green blob will be removed when the scene is edited at a later stage. Steve Gooder has volunteered to operate the prop.
Are you alright,
I'm a
Dave?
bit worried because it's the producer who's starting to dislike me, and he's got a jab at me with a stick.
Just putting the fair God into Nigel. He needs to know that he might get caught by this. There's real fear in his face.
Action, Nigel!
Wait! He's moving into stick me to death!
Cut there. Very good performance. Excellent. Look very, very nice.
It's the heavy bird feeder! We're right underneath it! What's happened is we've shrunk down, gone sideways, we're being bombed by blue tips!
Along with a fake wasp head, there are a few other tricks to help get a convincing performance.
I really like the scene at the beginning when they're under the bird feeder, because I think that puts them right down in that tiny world straight away, and it feels very exciting and dramatic. I can remember wanting to get a really genuine reaction out of Sarah, Laura. I asked someone to stand on top of the truck with a massive sledgehammer and just wallop the top of the truck. Their initial response was genuine fear, which is great.
Okay, cut there.
Try that, Sarah.
That's brilliant! Is that you?
I knew it would be Steve Gooder
My
involved.
God!
I take full responsibility for that.
One of the most dramatic scenes in the film is when Nigel hitches a ride on the back of a dragonfly.
I think it's been an exciting day today. It's one of the most exciting sequences in the film where I fly across the garden on a dragonfly. And they're going to completely generate a computer graphic dragonfly from scratch. And I've basically got to ride a green beam out there and pretend I'm flying just behind the dragonfly's wings.
Because this is probably the most complicated thing we're going to do for the programme. We've got tracking moves to do. It's a jib shot, so getting the jib moves smooth and getting all of those things in. Everything that could possibly go wrong we've piled onto these shots.
When it accelerates, you've really got to hold on! Woohoo!
Although it appears that Nigel's whizzing around high up in the air, he's actually on a static pole just 4 feet off the ground.
Woo! Riding a dragonfly! Orca dragonflies, they can go over 20 miles per hour. That's it, no more.
Despite the low height and lack of motion, Nigel is beginning to suffer.
It really hurts between your legs, so what I'm going to do next time, I've got a lot more takes to do, so I'm going to work out some way of putting some foam in between my legs and that thing I'm riding. Did that work? Yeah, thank you. Fantastic. Brilliant. Oh, it's much better. It genuinely is much nicer.
But when there's a real chance of injury, the production team can't risk Nigel being put out of action.
I double for Russell Crowe, riding double on Gladiator. Kevin Costner riding double on Prince of Thieves. Val Kilmer on Saint.
Pretty disappointed I couldn't do all the stunts myself. There's only a few jumps and rolls. Maybe I'd have hurt myself though, but Steve, the producer, he wouldn't let me do it.
Part of me obviously would have been very happy to have made Nigel jump off a high podium onto a hard floor, but on balance I felt that we probably needed him intact for the rest of the shoot.
While Nigel is on his adventures away from the truck, Sarah and Robin have to deal with their own bug attack.
Action!
The scene we're doing today is a real action scene.
It's the Battle of the Ants.
We get attacked by a giant bug.
The little ant that comes through is going to be a computer-generated ant, and so we've got a green model here that the actors can respond to.
Basically, I'm fighting off a blob of polystyrene.
But one person is about to suffer a real fright on set. Special effects animator Jessica Lee.
3D animators don't really get out on set very often, so Jess managed to talk away into operating the green lollipop that Doug was attacking, but we didn't bank on how excited he was going to get.
When you're asked to get very physical in a confined space with a cameraman trying to catch that in his shot as well, so you've got to be aware of where he is, where the ant creature is.
Doug is extremely scary. I mean, when he goes for it, he really goes for it.
I'm smashing a fire extinguisher into a polystyrene head.
He managed to fire the extinguisher straight into Jess's face.
Like a bit of carbon dioxide in the morning.
Bless him.
Filming the interior scenes in the actual vehicle rather than a mock-up set is really paying off.
They had that physicality of having somebody very close, so you could only move sort of here, there, do small movements. I was often getting knocked by them and bumped by them, and it all adds to it, because you just feel suddenly the audience will feel like they're in there as well.
After 2 months of intense filming cooped up in the studio, Nigel and the team are finally let loose in the real garden.
It was setting up the whole film, almost laying out the plan of our mission, the creatures we're going to see. And the key, what I want to get across is, this is not about garden insects and things you find in a garden, it is about monsters. When you're that tiny, a toad is like a dinosaur. It's going to be like going out on the Serengeti, except the predators are much more ferocious than lions.
It's lovely. It's the real world.
I'd had weeks in the studio against green screen, and then to actually be out in the sunshine, that really brought it all together.
We're doing the top and tail of the programme, so it's before we shrink down, and then after we resize, we go back up to full size. Full size! Ooh, 5 foot, wherever I am.
Despite everything being life-size in these outdoor scenes, one key prop still appears to be missing.
The truck is supposed to be just there, and of course it's not there at all. It's another one of those things where you just got to imagine it.
Along with the vehicle, it seems another important element has gone astray.
It's not looking good. We need sunshine, and the clouds are rolling in. And not much we can do about it.
As they wait for the sun, Robin has time to reflect on his last few weeks playing Doug.
It's been a very interesting experience, and I've learnt an awful lot about my own country's wildlife, which I didn't know before. And I just take my Sunday walks now with a slightly different eye.
The clouds eventually break, allowing filming to continue.
Picking really helped. I think the shaking really helped.
With the opening garden scenes complete, the team fast forward to film the last sequence of the day and the final scene of the adventure.
So this is to match the shots that we've done before, where we come bursting out of the back of the van after we've come back up to full size.
Thank God.
Little bit tight.
Yeah. Just couldn't have done that without you.
After a whole year of wildlife filming, 2 months of shooting drama, and 11 months of processing special effects, the production team's mission is complete.
The most outstanding sequence with clever computer graphics is when I'm riding the dragonfly. Every little boy or girl would like to do that, and what a ride it would be to skim around a garden.
In terms of pure visual thrills, the dragonfly sequence is fantastic.
I just think it's a tremendously fun, ambitious special effect that really has paid off well.
What excited me most about this project was This is real animal behaviour, and all you need is to get down on your tummy, peer through the grass stalks and look for this amazing array of creepy crawlies that you could find in your own garden.
Inventing a machine to shrink someone to a fraction of their normal size has always been beyond possibility. But leading wildlife film producers have teamed up with special effects experts to make this seem a reality for leading naturalist Nigel Marvin.
My worst nightmare!
In the making of Micro Safari, we go behind the scenes to reveal the secrets of the technology that created some of the most exhilarating sequences ever seen on television, including how to hitch a ride on a dragonfly.
What a ride it would be to skim around a garden. The view of the garden!
But creating this unique production was no stroll in the park. Things didn't always go to plan.
I literally can't, I don't know where you are, can't see anything.
This is the payoff shot for the whole sequence, and if you don't get it, and you're suddenly looking at a 5-minute hole in your film.
The Land Rover is too big to fit into the studio.
It really hurts between your legs.
Everything that could possibly go wrong we've piled onto these shots.
I always loved creepy crawlies. I think some of my earliest memories are laying on
Vision goggles.
and I should be able to see that.
The thermal imaging camera that we used is based on restricted military technology. It registers incredibly small changes in temperature, down to 0.02 of a degree.
The system provides incredible images of the bumblebee warming itself up. It also illustrates the heat given off by the decomposing vole.
And there'll be microbes on the meat, they'll be producing heat, and the carcass should stand out like a sore thumb.
The slow-motion images are filmed using an astonishing high-speed camera system called Phantom, which can record at over 2,000 frames a second.
A normal video camera records at 25 frames per second, so effectively we're slowing down the action 80 times, but without any loss of quality at all.
One of the key elements of the story is the vehicle.
We wanted something kind of pretty big and impressive. We found a Land Rover 101. It turned out to be an ambulance that come back from the Gulf. It had the red crosses on the back and everything. And it was in a terrible state. When we took it to the set builders and showed them the drawings we'd done, they kind of...
My tummy in the garden, peeking through the grass stalks and seeing all the insects.
What do you think we'll find under there?
It was a whole amazing new world for me.
You like woodlice?
After choosing a perfect presenter and a suitable garden in which to set the drama, work begins on filming the real wildlife material. This task is down to expert natural history cameramen Martin Dawn and Rod Clark. As well as using macro photography to record the extreme close-up action, specialist cameras are brought in to capture some of the more unusual images.
Hello there.
Like those seen by Nigel's thermal